Yo, what's up? Dr. Swole here, MD, pro physique athlete. Today I'm going to be giving you a full 6-day hypertrophy program based on the push-pull legs Arnold split. The push-pull legs Arnold split is a hybrid split that combines push-pull legs and the Arnold split into a 6-day program. In brief, push-pull legs divides your body up into 3 days. On push days, you train muscles involved in pushing movements, so your chest, triceps, and shoulders. On pull days, you train your back and biceps. And on leg days, you train your legs. In the Arnold split, your body's also divided into 3 days. You've got chest and back day, shoulder and arm day, and leg day. Both of these splits have some unique features, but it's possible to combine them into a 6-day split. This is a high volume program that is not designed for beginners. It's set more so for an intermediate to an advanced athlete. If you're a beginner, I'd recommend you check out one of my low volume beginner programs. We'll start off with a program walkthrough where I show everything you'll need to know to run the program yourself, including exercises, sets, and reps. Then we'll talk about the weekly setup or my preferred layout for the days across the week. And finally, we'll talk about the pros and cons of this push-pull legs Arnold program. Alright, let's do our program walkthrough. So this is Dr. Swole's push-pull legs Arnold split program. It's a high volume program designed for an intermediate to advanced athlete. We have pull day, push day, leg day number 1, chest and back day, shoulder and arm day, and leg day number 2. Here are the exercises and there are the sets and reps. Down here we have the total number of sets per workout, so you have an ideal workout length, and here we have our weekly muscle group set volumes. And you'll see that this is a high volume program. So you'll see that our push-pull leg segment comes first in the week, followed by our Arnold split segment. Starting off with pull day, we kick it off with Meadows rows for the back, 3 sets of 6 to 10. These are a really cool single arm row variation that uses the landmine attachment. Then we have chest supported rows, also for the back, 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps. Following that, single arm lat pull downs for the back, 3 sets of 10 to 15. After that, we have cable upright rows, which I count for side delts, but you could include on this day since they also train the traps, 4 sets of 8 to 12. And then finally, cable lateral raises for the side delts as well, 4 sets of 10 to 15. With push-pull leg splits, you tend to have short pull days, so you'll see that I've moved over some side delt work onto this day to even things out. Next we have push day, and we start off with bench press for the chest, 4 sets, and we're using a top set back off method here. So 1 top heavy set of 5 to 8 reps, followed by 3 back off sets of also 5 to 8 reps, where we take about 10% off the bar. Top set back offs are a great way to combine some strength and hypertrophy work. Then we have incline dumbbell flies for the chest, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Dumbbell fly variations can be nice because they give you a good stretch at the bottom. Then we have cable press downs for the triceps, 4 sets of 8 to 12. Following that, machine lateral raises for the side delts, 4 sets of 8 to 12. Then we have some bicep work, which you'll see that I've moved over from pull day. Single arm preacher curls, 3 sets of 8 to 12, and machine curls also for the biceps, 3 sets of 12 to 20. Swapping your bicep work with some side delt work allows you to train your biceps when they're fresh and not fatigued after your pulling back movements. Next, we have leg day number 1, and we start off with hack squats for the quads, 5 sets of 6 to 10. Following that, barbell back extensions for the glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 6 to 10. And this is where you're in the back hyperextension machine. I usually set it around 50 to 55 degrees. And this is a nice low fatigue variation that hits your glutes and hamstrings. This program actually doesn't have any heavy barbell squats and deadlifts. This is because it's designed for a more advanced athlete. An advanced athlete will generate a lot of fatigue from heavy barbell squats and deadlifts because of the amount of weight and axial loading. That is, the compressive forces on your spine. So you'll see that we have a lot of machine work here. Next, we have single leg Smith machine squats. I count these for quads and glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Kind of like a standing lunge in the Smith machine. Again, more stabilization for that more advanced athlete. Then we have leg extensions for the quads, 4 sets of 12 to 20. Finally, we wrap things up with some calf work, so machine calf raises, and we're using a mile rep scheme here. So you'll warm up to 1 top set of 12 to 20 reps, and then you'll take a short break around 10 seconds, and then do 7 more mini sets of 3 to 5 reps, taking about 10 seconds in between. I'll just count down from 10. This can be a good way to fit in a lot of effective volume in a short amount of time, and I find this technique works well for calves. I've approximated this as about 5 straight sets. Next, we have chest and back day, and we start off with neutral grip lat pull downs for the back, 4 sets of 6 to 10. Then we have machine bench press for the chest, 4 sets of 8 to 12, and following that, chest supported rows for the back, 3 sets of 10 to 15. You'll see that I include more chest supported back work in my advanced programs, and this takes the weight off of your lower back when you're rowing. Then we have machine flies for the chest, 3 sets of 12 to 20. Then we have some straight arm pull downs for the back, 3 sets of 12 to 20. And finally, cable upright rows for the side delts, 4 sets of 12 to 20. You'll see that I've chosen relatively easier chest and back movements to put on this chest and back day rather than our pull and push days. This is because this day comes right after a tough leg day. If you're really fatigued from legs, this could interfere a little bit with your chest and back training depending on how advanced you are. Also, these dedicated pull and push days are relatively easier days in the week since you're mainly just hitting your back or your chest and then some smaller group work. So you can put your heavier main chest and back movements here to even out the stress. Going on to shoulder and arm day, we have machine overhead press for the shoulders, 3 sets of 6 to 10. And then we have floor presses, which I count for triceps and chest, 4 sets of 8 to 12. Notice that I've put my relatively easier accessory pressing movements onto the shoulder and arm day. And this is because this day comes right after chest and back day. A lot of people criticize the Arnold split having shoulders coming right after chest, but I don't think this is much of a problem as long as you're careful with your exercise selection. Then we have seated hammer curls for the biceps, 3 sets of 6 to 10. Following that, overhead cable extensions for the triceps, 4 sets of 12 to 20. You can superset these on the cable machine with Bayesian curls, which are like a standing cable curl for one arm, except your arm is actually behind your body, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Finally, we have some more machine lateral raises for the side delts, 4 sets of 12 to 20. Notice that we do have a high frequency of side delt work here, which I find works well for this muscle group. Finally, we have leg day number 2, and we start off with good mornings for the glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 6 to 10. Following this, we have leg press for the quads, 5 sets of 8 to 12. You can superset this on the leg press machine for calf raises. Again, we're doing myo reps, so one top set of 8 to 15 reps followed by 7 myo rep sets. Then we have Bulgarian split squats, which I count for quads and glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 8 to 12. And finally, leg curls for the hamstrings, 4 sets of 10 to 15. Again, I want to point out when you look at the exercise selection here, I'm really aiming this towards a more advanced athlete with all the machine work. If you're more advanced and you're able to just move a lot of weight on heavy barbell compound movements, you may get a better stimulus to fatigue ratio of including more machine type work. And this program is an example of how you don't absolutely need to have heavy squats and deadlifts in a program to build muscle. Also note that this is a very high volume program. If it's too much for you, you can always drop the set numbers. Okay, let's talk about my preferred layout for this push-pull legs Arnold split. We have pull day, push day, leg day number 1, chest and back, shoulders and arms, legs 2, and rest. First of all, starting out with this push-pull leg segment, I like having pull day swapped with push day because this spreads out your heavy pulling work from legs. If you're doing heavy row movements, this does produce quite a bit of axial fatigue, and you ideally want to spread this out from heavy leg training. Also, the fact that we have push day coming after pull day means we can push our bicep work from pull day onto push day, and we can train our biceps when they're relatively fresh and not having just been tired out from doing heavy pulling back movements. This order is important because it's better for the biceps to come after your back training rather than before. If it was the other way around, you may have sore biceps going into your back training, which could impact the productivity of your back workout. This also applies in the Arnold split, where it's better to have shoulders and arms coming after chest and back. That way you can get your most productive big compound pulling and pushing movements done first and train your arms directly afterwards. I've placed the rest day here after our leg day. This is nice because leg days are going to be your toughest days and you'll want that recovery afterwards. If you had another important workout coming after leg day, your productivity might be impacted. Note that this does happen in the middle of the week where you have chest and back coming after leg day. This is just a consequence of having a 6-day split. Okay, let's talk about the pros and cons of this push-pull legs Arnold split program. Starting with the pros. First of all, you have a dedicated day where you're training your shoulders and arms. This is one of the parts I really like about the Arnold split. Often shoulders and arm training comes after your main pushing and pulling movements, and these small muscle groups are already fatigued by those big compounds. When you have a dedicated day for shoulder and arm training, you're really able to get the most out of those workouts and get more productive training. Next, you have a high frequency of your shoulder and arm training. You'll see that I made some modifications to the program to help with this. For example, splitting up your pull day and moving your bicep work off of pull day onto push day actually increases your biceps training frequency. Your biceps will get trained indirectly on your pulling back movements, plus they get trained the next day on those direct bicep movements. This is a sneaky trick that you'll see me use in quite a few of my modified splits. Lastly, this setup is good for supersets. This is particularly in the Arnold split segment. Having chest and back and then shoulder and arm days really allows you to put those antagonist muscles together so you can alternate pulling and pushing movements or alternate bicep and tricep movements. Notice that a lot of the benefits from this split actually come from the Arnold split segment. And if you guys follow my content, you'll know that I do like the Arnold split a lot. Putting these two splits together can be a little bit funny because of some of the asymmetry that you get across the week, but it is doable as you've seen. Okay, now let's talk about cons of my push-pull legs Arnold program. First of all, your tricep work does come after pushing movements on your push day. This is one of the disadvantages of the push-pull leg split, and that is that your small group muscle training comes after your main compound movements. You'll see that I've tried to mitigate this by moving our bicep work off of pull day onto push day. Triceps still are left behind on push day. Next con of this program is that your chest and back day comes after leg day. As you saw, this happens in the middle of the week, and this is just one of the consequences of fitting it into a 6-day setup. I do still prefer having a 7-day cycle. You have a more predictable weekly routine, and you have a slightly higher frequency than if you spread it out over an 8-day cycle. You'll notice that I have addressed this by moving some of our easier upper body work onto our chest and back day. Finally, this program has tough leg days. Since you only have 2 leg days across the week, you have to put all of your volume for your leg days on those 2 days, and those days are going to be significantly more difficult than your other days. Notice that fatigue will become a limiting factor as an advanced athlete. I have tried to address this by including more machine type work in this program, so you'll see that the exercise selection here really favors more advanced athletes. Now, I will be sharing this full program as an Excel file for free in my Facebook group. So if you haven't already joined the group, find the link in the description below, join the group, and you can download the program for free. If you want to see an example of a full Arnold split, check out this video where I share a full 6-day hypertrophy program. I think the Arnold split is really underrated, so definitely one to check out.